Have you ever stopped to think that the very food on your plate could be the chain that is holding your spirit captive? My beloved, listen carefully, for what I am about to say may shock you. You think the devil only works through temptations of lust, greed, or anger. But do you know that he also works quietly, secretly, powerfully through the food you eat, while you are praying, while you are fasting, while you are lifting your hands to God? The enemy may already be inside your body, not through possession of your soul, but through what you have allowed and into your temple, your stomach, your blood, your mind. Satan is not foolish. He studies you. He knows that if he cannot break your faith, he will weaken your vessel. If he cannot destroy your spirit, he will poison your body. And one of his greatest tools is the food that looks harmless, smells delightful, and tastes sweet upon your tongue, but rots you from within. Do not be deceived. There are foods that are not just unhealthy for the body, they are spiritually dangerous. They dull your mind, weaken your prayers, and make you a slave to cravings. They stir up laziness, cloud your discernment, and create addictions that you cannot break. You wonder why your faith feels heavy, why your prayers seem powerless, why your mind is restless and unfocused. It may not be only your circumstances. It may be what you are feeding yourself. The enemy has designed a system in this world where food is no longer just food. It has been corrupted, modified, injected, and filled with chemicals that destroy not just your health but your spirit. You cannot glorify God fully while being chained by what you eat. The devil knows this and he uses it. Think of it. Why do so many of us struggle to wake up and pray? Why do we feel tired, sluggish, heavy in body and spirit? Could it be that the foods we consume, drenched in sugar, fried in oils, pumped with toxins, are killing the fire of God inside us? Do you see how cunning Satan is? He does not always come with horns and destruction. Sometimes he comes with sweetness, with pleasure, with indulgence. He whispers, eat a little more. Drink this, taste that. You deserve it. It's harmless. And by the time you realize the trap, you are already bound. The word says your body is the temple of God. A temple is meant to be holy, pure, filled with light. But if the temple is filled with filth, if the altar is cluttered with idols, how can God's presence rest fully upon you? The devil knows that if he can make you careless with your temple, you will lose focus in prayer, lose passion in worship, and lose fire in battle. Some of you are not weak in spirit. You are strong in spirit, but your body is chained by foods that are destroying your focus, your clarity, your discipline. And the enemy laughs because he knows you cannot run this race with endurance if you are weighed down by what he has placed on your table. I tell you this with urgency. Not every food is for you. Not every drink is for you. Not everything that is allowed by man is approved by God. The devil has infiltrated the food systems of this world. He has made what is bitter taste sweet, and what is harmful appear harmless. He has filled the marketplace with temptations that look like blessings but are actually curses. Do not be blind. Every time you take something into your body, ask yourself, does this glorify God? Or does this give Satan another foothold? Does this make me alert in prayer? Or does it make me drowsy? Does this bring me closer to purity, or does it tie me deeper to the flesh? The enemy knows that if he can control your appetite, he can control your destiny. If he can chain you through food, he will make you weak when you should be strong. He will make you tired when you should be praying. He will make you restless when you should be at peace. He will make you crave more when you should be fasting. Food is not just food. It is a weapon, either for God or against God. Either it strengthens you or it weakens you. Either it sharpens your mind or it dulls your spirit. Either it lifts you higher or it drags you lower. I am speaking to someone right now who has been praying for strength, praying for clarity, praying for freedom. But you keep feeding yourself the very things that are enslaving you. You cannot be free if you keep eating chains. You cannot be strong if you keep drinking poison. You cannot be clear-minded if you keep consuming confusion. The devil has made you believe that food is harmless, but food can be a seed. Some seeds produce holiness and health. Others produce addiction and destruction. Do you not see? This is why fasting is powerful. Because fasting breaks the chains of food that the devil tries to bind you with. Fasting realigns your appetite with God. But when you fast and then return to the same foods that enslave you, you undo the victory. Wake up, beloved! Open your eyes! Satan is controlling many of you through sugar, through processed foods, through the endless addiction to flavors that have no life in them. And you wonder why your energy is gone, why your prayers lack fire, why your vision is clouded. It is because you have surrendered your temple, not only through sin, but through what you have allowed to enter your mouth. Guard your appetite, guard your plate, guard your temple. For the devil seeks to destroy you not just through your enemies, not just through your trials, but through your food. Beloved, hear me with your heart open and your spirit alert. For the matter I speak of is not small. It is a hidden war. A silent battle taking place inside the very temples of your body. You may be fighting enemies on the outside, but the greatest enemy is often what you are feeding yourself on the inside. Satan does not always need to attack you with visible weapons when he can weaken you with invisible poisons disguised as food. He knows that a distracted, drowsy, and unhealthy believer cannot rise with strength to fulfill the calling of God. So he places before you delights that are not delights, pleasures that are not pure, and flavors that are not blessings but traps. When God created the world, He provided food in its purest form. Fruits from the trees, grains from the fields, vegetables from the earth, water flowing crystal clear. These were designed to nourish the body and lift the soul in gratitude. But what has the devil done? He has twisted creation, polluted it, corrupted it, and turned it into a snare. The food systems of this world are no longer about nourishment. They are about addiction. Factories produce what was never grown in God's soil. Drinks are filled with chemicals that were never intended for God's temple. Flavors are engineered to make you crave more and more, not to satisfy but to enslave. And many are unaware that behind this system lies a spiritual agenda to keep you too weak to pray, too tired to seek God, too bound to fast, and too distracted to hear His voice. Consider this: why do so many people eat? and yet remain unsatisfied? Why do they drink and yet thirst again? Because they are not feeding themselves what God created. They are feeding on what man has modified under the influence of the evil one. When you consume what God did not ordain, you disconnect yourself from His natural order, and you give room for Satan to tamper with your health, your energy, and even your spiritual clarity. This is not just a matter of diet, it is a matter of destiny. How can you run the race set before you if your body is weighed down with chains? How can you discern the voice of God if your mind is clouded with toxins? How can you worship with fire if your spirit is heavy with cravings? The enemy knows this, and that is why he attacks not just your habits, but your appetite. Think of the first temptation in history. It was not with gold, not with power, not with riches. It was with food. Satan approached humanity through the appetite. That is how subtle he is. He knows that appetite is a doorway to the soul. If he can corrupt what you desire, he can control what you become. Many people do not realize that the battle over food is a battle over freedom. Every time you yield to cravings that do not glorify God, you surrender a piece of your strength. Every time you overindulge in what is harmful, you hand over a weapon to the enemy. But every time you discipline your appetite, you close a door that Satan wanted open. Beloved, do not allow your stomach to become your master. Food was created to serve you, not to enslave you. But Satan whispers, eat more, indulge more, satisfy yourself now. And before you realize it, your stomach is ruling your decisions. Your cravings are ruling your days, and your appetite is ruling your destiny. This is dangerous, for a person who is ruled by appetite cannot be fully ruled by God. When cravings dictate your life, you will find it harder to obey the Spirit. When you are addicted to flavors, you will resist the discipline of fasting. And when you are enslaved by food, you will never taste the sweetness of true spiritual freedom. Look at the world around you. Why do you think there are so many diseases rising, so much weakness, so much fatigue, even among those who call upon God? Yes, trials and afflictions come, but many sicknesses are not just physical. They are spiritual consequences of consuming what Satan has placed in our food systems. He has filled the earth with artificial sweetness to corrupt your taste buds, with stimulants to exhaust your nerves, with chemicals to fog your mind. He wants you hooked, dependent, and desperate for what is killing you. When you are bound in this way, your worship becomes half-hearted, your prayers become shallow, and your discipline is broken. But hear me, there is hope. God has not left you without wisdom. He has given you the power to discern, the ability to choose, the strength to resist. The enemy may tempt you through food, but God has equipped you with the will to say no. You must rise in the authority of God and declare, my body is His temple. My appetite will not control me. I will not be enslaved by sugar, by chemicals, by cravings. I will be ruled by God alone. Every choice you make with your food is not just a choice for your body. It is a choice for your destiny. Will you choose life, or will you choose bondage? Will you honor the temple of God, or will you let the devil graffiti it with poison? Some of you have been praying for freedom from spiritual heaviness, But God is waiting for you to clean your table. You cannot pray for clarity while consuming confusion. You cannot ask for fire while feeding yourself ashes. You cannot demand strength while pouring weakness into your body. The wisdom of God is simple: return to what He created. Return to what He ordained. Return to foods that grow from the earth, that carry life, that give energy without addiction. Return to water that flows pure, not to drinks that intoxicate your mind. Return to simplicity, and you will find strength. Return to discipline, and you will find freedom. Return to God in your appetite, and you will find Him in your spirit. Beloved, hear this warning: Satan is clever, but he is not creative. He can only corrupt what God has made. And if you see the corruption in food today, you must recognize the hand behind it. The hand that wants you addicted, the hand that wants you sluggish, the hand that wants you unfocused in prayer. Do not give him that victory. Do not hand him your health. Do not give him control of your appetite. Take back your temple. Take back your energy. Take back your clarity. Choose God with every bite, with every drink, with every decision of your appetite. For the one who conquers appetite conquers a doorway of the enemy. Beloved, do you realize how many destinies have been delayed, not because God was unwilling to bless, but because the vessel was too weak to carry the blessing? The enemy is a strategist, and he studies where you are vulnerable. He knows that many believers will not bow to idols, will not renounce their faith, will not stop praying. But he also knows that if he can slowly destroy your strength, if he can make you tired, if he can cloud your mind and chain your appetite, you will lack the energy to rise into the fullness of what God has prepared. You may have vision, but without health, you cannot pursue it. You may have dreams, but without discipline, you cannot fulfill them. And so Satan works quietly through what seems harmless, through food that looks good, feels good, and tastes good, but is secretly robbing you of life. Do not think this is a small matter. This is spiritual warfare on your plate. Many people pray for God to remove temptation, but they do not see that the temptation is sitting in their refrigerator. They pray for God to give them focus, but their focus is being stolen by substances in their food that numb their mind. They pray for power in prayer, but their spirit is heavy with gluttony, overindulgence, and addiction to what does not honor God. The devil does not always shout when he attacks. Sometimes he whispers, and his whispers sound like cravings, like appetite, like indulgence. The body you carry is a gift from God. It is not your own, it is His temple. And a temple must be guarded. The priests of old never allowed filth or uncleanness to defile the house of God. Yet how many today fill their temple with poisons and then wonder why their prayers seem powerless? When the temple is defiled, the fire on the altar grows dim. When the body is enslaved, the spirit struggles to soar. If you want your prayers to carry weight, if you want your faith to be sharp, if you want your discernment to be clear, you must also guard your temple in the area of food. Think of the strength of those who walked with God in the past. They were disciplined in appetite. They understood the power of fasting. They knew that victory often begins in the stomach. A person who cannot control appetite cannot control destiny. The first doorway to self-mastery is mastery of the plate. And Satan knows this, which is why he works day and night to create new forms of bondage through food. He wants your body tired, your spirit heavy, and your mind distracted. But you, child of God, must rise above. You must declare that you will no longer be ruled by your stomach, by cravings, or by the schemes of the enemy. Consider how food is marketed today. Bright colors, addictive flavors, seductive advertisements. It is not just business, it is manipulation. The systems of this world are designed to keep you hooked, to keep you buying, to keep you eating more than you need, more than God intended. And every time you indulge without discipline, you strengthen the grip of bondage. Beloved, discipline in food is not about denial, it is about freedom. Freedom from addiction, freedom from manipulation, freedom from the invisible chains Satan tries to place on your soul through your appetite. God gave you authority over the earth, over creation, even over your body. But when you let cravings rule you, you surrender that authority. You give control to the flesh, and through the flesh, Satan finds his doorway. You may say, but it is only food. No, food is never only food. Food can be fuel for holiness or fuel for bondage. Food can be an offering to God or an offering to your flesh. Food can strengthen your spirit or weaken it. You must decide, will you eat to glorify God, or will you eat to please cravings planted by the enemy? Let me tell you something deeper. What you eat not only affects your body, it affects your mind, and your mind affects your spirit. The enemy knows this. He knows that when your body is toxic, your thoughts become foggy, your emotions become unstable, and your will becomes weak. Have you noticed how after consuming certain foods, your mind feels restless, your patience grows short, and your desire for prayer fades? This is not accidental. This is strategy. If the devil cannot steal your faith directly, he will weaken the vessel that carries it. Beloved, God has called you to be sharp, disciplined, and spiritually alert. The enemy wants you sluggish, distracted, and numb. He wants you to crave the wrong things so that your hunger for God grows smaller. He wants you to desire sweetness from sugar instead of sweetness from His presence. He wants you to be addicted to flavor instead of addicted to prayer. He wants you to rise in the morning thinking about what to eat, not thinking about God. But you must break this chain. You must rise and declare, I will not allow food to control me. I will not allow Satan to dictate my appetite. My body belongs to God, my mind belongs to God, and my appetite belongs to God. The truth is, the discipline of appetite is one of the greatest weapons in spiritual warfare. That is why fasting is so powerful. When you fast, you declare war on the flesh, you silence cravings, you break addictions, you realign your hunger with God. Fasting is not just about abstaining from food, it is about reclaiming authority over appetite. It is saying to the devil, you will not rule me through what I eat. It is saying to your body, you are not the master, God is. It is saying to your spirit, rise above and lead. But fasting without discipline afterward is like building a wall and then tearing it down with your own hands. Some fast and then return to the same poisons. the same addictions, the same foods that chained them before. This is not victory. This is deception. True victory is when your appetite is consistently aligned with God's wisdom. When you eat not for indulgence, but for strength. When your food is not your master, but your servant. Beloved, hear me. Every bite matters. Every choice matters. You may think it is small, but small choices become great habits, and habits shape destiny. If you continually choose food that honors God, you will find your body lighter, your mind clearer, your prayers stronger, and your spirit freer. But if you continually choose food that enslaves, you will find yourself bound even while you are praying for freedom. Beloved, I must speak with fire in my spirit, for too many are living as captives while thinking they are free. You pray, you sing, you call upon God, but the devil has already placed shackles upon your body through what you eat. Do not think the enemy is foolish. He studies the details of your life. He knows that if he can corrupt your daily bread, he can weaken your daily walk. If he can chain your appetite, he can cloud your mind. If he can poison your plate, he can poison your prayers. This is why I cry out with urgency. Watch what you consume. For what you consume will either draw you nearer to God or drag you deeper into bondage. Look at the cunning of the enemy. He takes what God has created for life and twists it into something that brings death. He takes food that should heal and turns it into something that destroys. He takes drink that should refresh and turns it into something that enslaves. The shelves of this world are filled with products that do not carry life but carry corruption. They shine with colors, they promise pleasure, but behind them is a spirit of control. Do you see how this works? It is not just physical, it is spiritual. The battle is not about calories and sugar alone. It is about dominion. Who controls you? Is it God or is it your appetite? Is it the spirit or is it the flesh? Satan is patient. He does not need you to fall in one day. He is satisfied if you fall slowly. He is satisfied if your fire dies little by little, day after day, through what you consume. He knows you may never bow to an idol, but if he can make you bow to sugar, to processed food, to cravings that are never satisfied, he has still won. For if your stomach becomes your master, your spirit becomes a slave. Think of how much time is wasted when appetite controls a person. Hours spent satisfying cravings, days lost in fatigue, nights lost in restlessness. How many prayers are missed because the body was too heavy to rise? How many fasts were broken because the appetite was too strong? How many visions from God were clouded because the mind was poisoned with toxins? And yet, people treat food as if it is harmless, while it may be the very tool Satan is using to weaken their spiritual power. Beloved, hear me. Discipline in appetite is not only for health, it is for holiness. When you master appetite, you master focus. When you master appetite, you master clarity. When you master appetite, you master freedom. The enemy trembles when he sees a believer who is not ruled by cravings, because he knows that person cannot be easily manipulated. Appetite is one of the first doors the devil seeks to open, but if you lock that door, you cut off one of his greatest strategies. The word says that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from God. This means your true life is not in what you eat, but in who you serve. Food can sustain your body, but only God sustains your soul. And yet the enemy convinces many to worship the stomach, to serve their cravings as if it were a god. They eat not to live, but live to eat. And in doing so, they surrender their strength. Beloved, your stomach is not your master. It is not your ruler. It is a servant to your spirit, and your spirit is submitted to God. You must put appetite back in its rightful place. Let me reveal another angle. The foods of this world are not only designed to weaken you physically, they are designed to corrupt your emotions. Have you noticed how certain foods make you irritable, restless, even depressed? This is no accident. The enemy knows that if he can disturb your emotions, he can disturb your worship. If he can make you unstable in mood, he can make you unstable in prayer. If he can flood your body with toxins, he can flood your mind with confusion. This is why so many are up and down, hot and cold, on fire one day and weary the next. It is not always a spiritual attack from outside. It is a spiritual attack from inside through what they consume. Beloved, God has given you wisdom to discern. Not everything that is placed before you is for you. Not everything that is available is acceptable. Not everything that is sweet is safe. The enemy has made many things appear harmless that are deadly, and many things appear pleasurable that are poisonous. But if you seek God's wisdom, He will open your eyes. He will show you which foods carry life and which carry bondage. He will guide you to discipline, and through discipline, you will rise. Do not think this is about perfection or legalism. It is about alignment. Alignment with the will of God in every part of your life, including your appetite. It is about honoring Him not only with your lips, but with your lifestyle. It is about declaring that every part of you, from your thoughts to your body, belongs to Him. When you eat with gratitude and discipline, you are worshiping. When you drink with moderation and purity, you are worshiping. When you say no to cravings that enslave, you are worshiping. Worship is not only in songs, it is in choices, and your choices about food are part of that worship. Beloved, you cannot cry for freedom while holding the chains of appetite. You cannot pray for clarity while feeding confusion. You cannot ask God to heal while poisoning yourself with what He never intended you to consume. This is not just about physical strength, it is about spiritual power. If you want to walk in authority, if you want to pray with fire, if you want to live with clarity, you must break free from the foods that Satan uses to control you. And how do you break free? With discipline, with fasting, with prayer, with dependence on God. You must ask Him to cleanse not only your soul, but your appetite. You must surrender your plate to Him, just as you surrender your mind, your heart, and your hands. You must ask Him to realign your desires so that you crave what gives life, not what steals it. When you pray this way, God will give you strength to resist. When you discipline yourself, He will add power to your spirit. When you honor Him with your appetite, He will honor you with clarity, with strength, with freedom. Beloved, the time is short. The days are evil. The enemy is working overtime to weaken God's people, to distract them, to chain them. But you are called to rise above. You are called to live disciplined, clear-minded, sharp, alert, and strong. Do not allow your appetite to be your downfall. Do not let food become your prison. Take back your authority. Guard your temple. Honor God with every choice. And when you do, you will find a strength rising in you that no chain of the enemy can hold. You will find a clarity of mind that no darkness can cloud. You will find a freedom of spirit that no craving can enslave. For the one who conquers appetite conquers one of the greatest weapons of Satan. And the one who conquers that will rise in power, in purity, and in purpose under God. Stop being kind to everyone. Yes, you heard me right. There is a dangerous habit that many people carry in their hearts, a weakness that looks like kindness, but is actually a trap. It is the urge to be pleasing to everyone, to say yes to everyone, to open your arms to everyone, even to those who are sent to destroy you. My friend, let me tell you, not everyone deserves your kindness. Not everyone deserves your trust. Not everyone deserves the softness of your heart. Because when you open the door of your life to everyone without discernment, you also invite in betrayal, manipulation, and destruction. And God never called you to be everyone's servant. God called you to be His servant. Some of you listening right now are tired, exhausted, drained to your very soul. Not because of the weight of life itself, but because of the people you keep carrying who were never meant to walk with you. You have been kind to people who mock you behind your back. You have been kind to those who secretly rejoice when you fail. You have been kind to those who never once thought of your well-being, but only what they can take from you. And still, you excuse their behavior, you justify their betrayal, you cover their disrespect with your smile. Why? Because you think kindness will change them. But hear me, kindness is powerful when guided by wisdom. But kindness without discernment will kill you. God does not bless foolishness. God does not reward blindness. God gave you wisdom to discern, to see who belongs and who does not. God gave you strength to say no when needed. God gave you a backbone, not just a heart. And yet so many of you have chained yourself with this illusion that to be godly, you must never turn people away. You must always be available, always smiling, always carrying everyone else's load. But God never said that. God warned that there are wolves dressed like sheep. God warned that there are serpents hiding in the grass. And still, you welcome them into your life with kindness that is misplaced. There is a difference between being kind and being naive. Being kind means showing love where love is due, offering help where God leads you, extending mercy when it honors God. But being naive is giving your kindness to people who despise you, people who spit on your dignity, people who see your softness as weakness. Naive kindness destroys boundaries. Naive kindness makes you a doormat. Naive kindness blinds you to the danger God is already warning you about. And if you do not stop, it will drain your spirit until you have nothing left. How many times have you given to people who never once thought to give back? How many times have you prayed for people who secretly pray against you? How many times have you supported people who abandoned you the moment you needed them? And yet, because you think kindness is always the answer, you continue. But let me tell you this truth. Kindness without direction from God is self-destruction. Look at your life carefully. Look at the circles you have surrounded yourself with. Not everyone smiling at you is a friend. Not everyone praising you believes in you. Not everyone receiving your kindness deserves it. And if you think you can win everyone with kindness, you are deceiving yourself. Even God does not bless everyone equally. He chooses whom He lifts, whom He favors, whom He raises for a purpose. So why do you believe you can treat everyone the same when even God does not? Stop being kind to everyone. Start being selective. Start being discerning. Start asking yourself, is this person from God or sent by the enemy? Is this person aligned with my purpose or sent to derail me? Is this person helping me grow or slowly killing my spirit? These are the questions that kindness alone cannot answer. Only wisdom from God can. There are people who survive because of your kindness, but they do not survive to bless you. They survive to keep draining you. They only call you when they need something. They only come near when they want to take. They are never there to give, never there to uplift, never there to support. And yet you open your arms and say, I must be kind. But what has that kindness cost you? Some of you have lost your peace. Some of you have lost your focus. Some of you have lost years of your life giving to people who were never meant to stay. God is not calling you to be kind to everyone. God is calling you to guard your spirit. God is calling you to protect your energy. God is calling you to separate yourself from those who are only pretending to be for you. And sometimes that means shutting doors. Sometimes that means refusing to answer calls. Sometimes that means walking away from relationships that are poisoning you. And yes, that takes strength, but it also takes faith. Faith that God will replace what you let go of. Faith that God will send real people into your life once you remove the fake ones. Faith that you are not losing, but protecting what matters most. Do not confuse compassion with foolishness. Do not confuse mercy with weakness. Do not confuse generosity with slavery. You are not created to be a slave to everyone's demands. You were not created to be a people pleaser. You were created to live in obedience to God. And that obedience sometimes requires you to walk away from people who misuse your kindness. Because the more you keep pouring into the wrong people, the less you have to pour into the right ones. The more you waste your kindness on those who despise you, the less you can give to those who truly need you. And that is the enemy's plan, to drain you so you have nothing left for the assignment God has placed on your life. Stop being kind to everyone. Start being kind to yourself. Start being kind to your purpose. Start being kind to the mission God has given you. And let God guide you to whom your kindness should flow. Because not everyone is worthy of your heart. Not everyone is worthy of your sacrifice. Not everyone is worthy of your love. Your kindness must be directed by God, not by guilt, not by pressure, not by fear. There are seasons in life when God deliberately allows you to see the hidden motives of people. He removes the veil from your eyes so you can recognize that not everyone around you is meant to stay. Not everyone around you carry pure intentions. Not everyone around you deserves your constant kindness. Some people come to drain you, to silence you, to distract you from the path that God has chosen for you. And if you are too busy being kind to them, you will miss the warnings of God and keep walking into traps that were never meant for you. Do you realize that one of the greatest weapons the enemy uses is false relationships? People who disguise themselves as friends but carry poison in their tongues. People who disguise themselves as helpers but carry jealousy in their hearts. People who disguise themselves as supporters but secretly celebrate when you fail. And you, with your heart full of kindness, you treat them as if they are a gift from God. You pour into them, you sacrifice for them, you pray for them, you defend them. But in the end, your kindness becomes a chain around your neck, dragging you down into despair. God never asked you to keep everyone close. God never told you to silence your discernment in the name of kindness. God gave you the ability to sense when something is wrong. God gave you dreams, intuition, and warnings to protect you. But too often, you shut down those warnings because you are afraid of looking unkind, afraid of offending someone, afraid of being misunderstood. My friend, it is better to offend people than to offend God. It is better to disappoint a few than to disappoint the one who holds your life in his hands. Listen carefully. Misplaced kindness is not righteousness. When you continue to give your time, your energy, your resources to people God has already told you to release, you are not operating in obedience, you are operating in rebellion. Because you are putting people above God. You are placing their comfort above His instruction. And when you do that, your kindness becomes a weakness that the enemy will exploit again and again until you have nothing left. Some of you are living proof of this right now. You are tired. You are empty. You feel unnoticed and unappreciated. And it is not because God has abandoned you. It is because you are giving the best of yourself to people who were never meant to receive it. You are pouring water into broken vessels. You are planting seeds in poisoned soil. You are building bridges for those who will only burn them behind you. And yet, you continue thinking you are doing the right thing. But hear me, true kindness is obedience to God. True kindness is following His voice. True kindness is giving where He tells you to give and withholding where He tells you to withhold. There are people who will call you cruel when you set boundaries. They will say you have changed. They will accuse you of being selfish. But do not be deceived. Those accusations are not truth. They are manipulation. Because the moment your kindness stops serving them, they will reveal their true colors. And that is when you will finally see the reality you ignored for so long. Understand this. Not everyone in your life is assigned by God. Some are distractions, some are lessons, some are tests. And your responsibility is to ask God, who belongs in my circle? Who is from you and who is not? That prayer will save you years of pain. That prayer will protect your destiny. That prayer will separate you from those who only want to take what you carry. Because when you know who belongs and who does not, you will stop scattering your kindness recklessly. Think of this. Even the sun does not shine equally on every place at every moment. Seasons shift. Day becomes night. Winter becomes spring. And yet you think you must shine on everyone all the time. No. Even nature follows God's order. There is a time to shine and a time to retreat. There is a time to plant and a time to uproot. There is a time to embrace and a time to refrain. And if you want to live in alignment with God, you must stop giving the best of yourself to everyone who demands it. Kindness is holy when it is led by God, but kindness without boundaries is dangerous. Boundaries are not a lack of love. They are a sign of wisdom. Boundaries protect your energy. Boundaries guard your spirit. Boundaries make sure that you are not pouring yourself out until you have nothing left to give. Because God did not call you to be empty. God called you to be full. Full of strength, full of peace, full of clarity. And you cannot be full if you keep allowing everyone to drink from your cup without discernment. Some of you need to learn this truth today. Silence can be kindness. Walking away can be kindness. Saying no can be kindness. Closing the door can be kindness. Because true kindness is not about pleasing people. It is about pleasing God. And if God is telling you to shut a door, then shutting that door is the most loving thing you can do for yourself and your purpose. When you stop being kind to everyone, something powerful happens. You begin to see clearly. You begin to notice who truly values you, who respects your time, who appreciates your presence. You begin to attract people who give as much as they receive. You begin to feel peace in your relationships, because now your kindness is no longer wasted. It is planted in fertile soil. And what is planted in fertile soil will grow. It will multiply. It will return to you in ways you never imagined. But when you refuse to stop being kind to everyone, you remain trapped in cycles of disappointment. You keep giving to the same people, hoping they will change, but they don't. You keep forgiving without wisdom, and they hurt you again. You keep sacrificing, but they never once think of you. And then you wonder why you feel so broken, why you feel so tired, why you feel so far from the peace of God. It is because you have turned your kindness into idolatry. You have made people your focus instead of God. My friend, kindness is not meant to destroy you. Kindness is meant to reflect the character of God. And the character of God is not blind. The character of God is not foolish. The character of God is just discerning, wise, and strong. If you want your kindness to truly honor God, then you must align it with His wisdom. You must let Him direct your steps. You must allow Him to separate you from those who are not worthy of your heart. Because only then will your kindness produce blessing instead of bondage. Do you know why so many people feel empty even though they are surrounded by others? It is because they are pouring out love, time, and energy into places God never told them to invest. You can be the most giving person, the kindest soul, the most patient heart, and still find yourself broken, used, and ignored. Why? Because kindness without guidance is like planting seeds on concrete. No matter how much you water them, nothing will grow. And yet, some of you are still watering dead ground, believing your kindness alone will bring life where God has already declared barrenness. When God removes someone from your life, it is not cruelty, it is mercy. But when you insist on keeping them through your misplaced kindness. You are fighting against the hand of God. Think about that. You think you are doing good, but in reality, you are delaying your own growth. You are keeping the door open for pain. You are inviting storms that God already tried to end. This is why you must stop being kind to everyone. Not everyone is meant to stay. Not everyone is meant to receive your love. Not everyone is meant to eat from your table. There is a hidden danger in always trying to be liked. If you live to please people, you will die in pieces. You will never know who you truly are because you are constantly bending yourself to fit their expectations. But you were not created to be a puppet for people's opinions. You were created to be a vessel of God's purpose. And when you finally stop scattering kindness like crumbs for everyone to take, you will begin to walk with power. You will begin to move with authority. You will begin to stand tall in the destiny God has written for you. Ask yourself this: how many opportunities have you missed because you were too busy being kind to the wrong people? How many doors closed because you had all your energy supporting those who never supported you? How many blessings slipped away because you were entangled with people God had already told you to release? Sometimes the enemy doesn't destroy you with outright attacks. Sometimes he destroys you by surrounding you with people who drain your kindness until you are too weak to chase what God has prepared for you. Hear me clearly. God does not bless disobedience. If He has whispered in your spirit that someone does not belong in your life, and yet you continue to show them endless kindness, do not be surprised when your peace fades. Do not be surprised when your strength diminishes. Do not be surprised when doors seem locked, because you are choosing to honor people over God. And anytime you place people above God, your life will tilt out of balance. There is a higher calling on your life, and that calling requires courage. Courage to walk away from the familiar. Courage to say no when your heart wants to say yes. Courage to let go of those who misuse your kindness, even if they are family, even if they are close, even if it hurts. Because God's will is always higher than your feelings. And sometimes what feels like cruelty in the moment is actually protection for your future. Stop being kind to everyone, because not everyone is kind to God. There are people who openly rebel against Him, who mock His name, who despise His order, and yet you still show them the same level of kindness as those who truly seek God. That is not balance, that is blindness. You cannot align yourself with those who hate what God loves and think it will not affect you. Their darkness will creep into your spirit. Their rebellion will stain your peace, and their disdain for God will eventually pull you away from Him, all because you thought being kind would shield you. No, my friend, the shield you need is not kindness without wisdom. It is obedience to God. Obedience will preserve you. Obedience will protect you. Obedience will guide your kindness to the right people at the right time. And when your kindness flows in obedience, it carries power. It carries healing. It carries transformation. But when it flows from guilt, fear, or people pleasing, it carries destruction. Some of you need to hear this hard truth. The reason people do not respect you is because You have been too kind to them. You allowed disrespect and called it patience. You tolerated abuse and called it forgiveness. You carried burdens that were never yours and called it love. But true love is not the absence of boundaries. True love reflects the order of God. And God Himself sets boundaries. He opens and closes doors. He lifts some and humbles others. He blesses whom He chooses and withholds from whom He chooses. If God Himself does not treat everyone the same, why do you think you must? There is a peace that comes when you finally stop being kind to everyone. Suddenly, your heart feels lighter, your spirit feels clearer, your mind feels sharper, because now you are no longer scattering your kindness like pearls before those who trample them. You are no longer wasting your energy on those who never deserved it. You are giving where God has directed you, and in that obedience, you find fulfillment. But let me warn you, when you stop being kind to everyone, not everyone will applaud you. Some will accuse you of being cold. Some will say you are arrogant. Some will claim you have changed for the worse. But pay attention. These are usually the very people who benefited from your misplaced kindness. They are upset not because you have changed for the worse, but because they can no longer control you. They can no longer use you. They can no longer drain you. And their anger is not a sign of your failure, it is proof of your growth. God did not design you to be drained by people. God designed you to be sustained by Him. And when you finally align your kindness with His will, you will experience a new strength, a new clarity, a new peace that cannot be shaken. You will walk into rooms with discernment. You will hear conversations with wisdom. You will see people for who they truly are. And you will know exactly where to pour your kindness and where to withhold it. That, my friend, is not cruelty, that is maturity. That is obedience. That is walking with God. Let me tell you something that many people are too afraid to admit. The reason your life feels stuck is not because God has abandoned you, but because you refuse to close the doors He has already told you to close. You are trying to carry everyone along, trying to please everyone, trying to be kind to everyone, even to those who are secretly working against you. And as long as you continue this way, you will remain trapped in the same cycle of disappointment. God cannot elevate you while you are still tied to people who are pulling you down. Think carefully about this when God gives you a dream, when He places a calling on your life, when He sets you apart for His purpose. Not everyone can go with you. Some people are not equipped to walk where God is taking you. Some are too small-minded, too jealous, too careless with the things of God. Yet you keep them close out of misplaced kindness. You are afraid of offending them. You are afraid of being misunderstood. But let me remind you, obedience to God will always offend someone. Do you want the approval of people or the approval of God? Because you cannot have both. God is not calling you to be everyone's caretaker. He is calling you to be a vessel for His glory. And that requires focus. That requires strength. That requires boundaries. If your kindness is scattering your energy in every direction, you will never have the concentration required to fulfill your purpose. That is why the enemy sends so many people into your life. because he knows if he can distract you with them, he can keep you from fulfilling what God placed in you. The enemy doesn't always attack with storms. Sometimes he attacks with people who smile at you, but secretly pull you away from your assignment. Stop being kind to everyone, because your kindness can become a leash that others use to control you. They know you will say yes. They know you will give. They know you will sacrifice. And because you never set boundaries, they use your goodness against you. They know exactly how to play on your emotions. They know how to twist your guilt. They know how to make you feel selfish if you ever say no. And so you keep giving until you have nothing left, while they keep taking without limit. That is not love, that is bondage. And God did not create you for bondage. He created you for freedom. Some of you right now are praying for peace, but peace will not come until you let go of those who disturb it. You are asking God for strength, but strength will not come until you stop wasting it on people who do not value it. You are asking God for clarity, but clarity will not come until you remove the voices of those who cloud your vision. You are waiting for God to move, but God is waiting for you to obey. And obedience means cutting ties with those who misuse your kindness. Do not confuse love with blindness. God calls you to love, yes, but love does not mean enabling wickedness. Love does not mean keeping company with liars, manipulators, and deceivers. Love does not mean allowing people to trample on your dignity. Love is holy, but holiness is never blind. Holiness is sharp, discerning, and aligned with God's truth. And if someone despises the ways of God, do not think your endless kindness will change them. Only God can change hearts, and He does not need you to sacrifice your purpose to prove it. There are moments in life when God will test you by asking, will you choose me, or will you choose them? And if you cannot say no to people, how will you ever say yes to God? If you are too afraid to hurt someone's feelings, how will you ever walk in the boldness required to carry His mission? This is why you must learn to stop being kind to everyone. Because your destiny requires strength, and strength cannot grow where there are no boundaries. Stop allowing your kindness to blind you to the truth. Not everyone clapping for you wants you to succeed. Not everyone who comes close to you is a blessing. Some people are simply assignments from the enemy, sent to drain your energy, to sabotage your focus, to turn your kindness into your downfall. And if you continue to welcome everyone with open arms, you will welcome destruction into your own home. God has already given you the wisdom to discern. He has placed in your spirit the ability to sense when something is wrong. But you keep silencing that voice because you want to appear kind. Stop silencing the warnings of God. Stop betraying your own soul for the sake of people who will never appreciate it. Stop sacrificing your peace for those who would never do the same for you. Your obedience to God must be greater than your desire to please people. Let me speak directly to your heart. Your life is too precious to waste on those who misuse your kindness. Your energy is too valuable to be drained by those who will never respect it. Your destiny is too great to be hindered by those who are not walking with God. You cannot be kind to everyone, because not everyone is aligned with the plan of God for your life. And if you do not separate yourself, you will remain stuck in cycles of frustration while your purpose slips further away. God has chosen you for something greater, and that greatness will require pruning. It will require you to walk alone at times. It will require you to shut the door on relationships you once thought you could not live without. It will require you to stand firm in your boundaries, even when people misunderstand you. But in the end, it will lead you into a peace, a strength, a clarity, and a favor that only God can give. My beloved, hear this with the fire of conviction. Your kindness is a sacred gift from God, not a weapon for others to use against you. Stop letting everyone have access to what God has made holy in you. Not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves your energy. And not everyone deserves your kindness. You are not called to be consumed. You are called to be preserved for God's purpose. There is a greater calling upon your life, and that calling demands wisdom. When you stop scattering kindness recklessly, you begin to honor God by protecting what He has entrusted to you. You begin to live with focus, with strength, with discernment, and with power. God is saying to you today, stop being kind to everyone and start being faithful to me. Choose wisely where you pour yourself. Guard the oil within you. Protect the treasure God has placed in your heart. And as you walk in this wisdom, you will rise higher, shine brighter, and live in the fullness of what God has ordained for you. Your kindness is precious, but your obedience to God is greater. Let your kindness be led by His wisdom, and you will never again be misused, drained, or deceived. Instead, you will stand strong, unshaken, and unbothered, living as a child of God who knows when to give, when to withhold, and when to walk away. That is true strength. That is true freedom. That is the life God has called you to live.